Chapter 1. The Dangerous Illusion. 99% of traders carry into the market. Most traders don't step into the market with a plan. They step in with an illusion. The illusion that, as long as I can find a perfect strategy, all my problems will disappear. A new indicator. A never loses system. A method that can read the market's future. Something they believe that, if I can just get this, everything in my trading life will change. But there's a brutal truth no one tells you. The perfect strategy doesn't exist. The market is not a machine that can be solved by a fixed formula. It's a place where human emotions, capital flows, news, expectations, fear, greed collide with each other every second. And yet, most traders carry a very naive belief. If I'm losing, it means my strategy isn't good enough. I just need to find a better strategy, and I'll win. So they jump into an endless hunt. Today, try price action. Tomorrow, switch to indicators. The next day, study ICT. Next week, try a bot. Next month, drop Forex, move to crypto. The month after that, switch back to stocks. Not because those things are bad, but because they're placing their hope in the wrong place. The traders who survive long enough, the ones who have watched their accounts vanish like a joke, the ones who've been stuck in stagnation for years, the ones who've had moments thinking, maybe I wasn't born to trade, they all realize the same thing. The turning point never comes from adding yet another new strategy. It comes from removing old illusions. The illusion that your win rate must be very high. The illusion that you can avoid all losing trades. The illusion that if you're good enough, you'll be right almost all the time. The illusion that one day the market will sit nicely in the palm of your hand. No, the market was not created for you to control. It was created to test you, to test your beliefs, to test your discipline, to test your capacity to tolerate pain, to test whether you dare to face the truth or not. And the first truth, also the most painful one, that very few have the courage to face. The problem is not in your strategy. The problem is in you and how you relate to losing. Chapter 2. The must-be-right trap and why you hold losers, cut winners. No one teaches you this. In trading, you can be right on only 30–40% of your trades and still become very wealthy. No one tells you this. Professional traders make a living not because they win spectacularly, but because they lose beautifully. Society teaches you being wrong is failure. Being wrong is shameful. Being wrong means you're not good enough. But trading demands the opposite. You must be wrong, repeatedly. Wrong in a structured way. Wrong within limits. Wrong and still emotionally steady. And this is the first internal conflict that kills 90% of new traders. You grew up in an environment that worships being right. School rewards you when you're right. Family praises you when you're right. Your whole life, you've tried to avoid being wrong at all costs. Then you step into trading a game where being wrong is normal. Losing is a business expense. Losing streaks are part of probability. But your brain doesn't know that. It only knows one thing. Wrong, danger. Must avoid. So, what happens? When a trade is in drawdown, you don't want to cut it because cutting the loss means admitting, yeah, I was wrong. When a trade is in profit, you're afraid to let it run because holding means accepting the risk of it turning back, and you might have to face the possibility that you were stupid for not locking it in. So you end up holding losers for a long time and cutting winners too early. Not because you don't know the rules, but because you're chained to a subconscious belief. I must be right. Being wrong is unacceptable. The market doesn't care. It is designed to make you wrong frequently, and it's your reaction to being wrong that decides who you become in this game. Someone who constantly tries to prove they're right, or someone who accepts small wrongs to stay alive. Long term. Chapter 3. Your primitive brain. In a modern probability game, let's be honest, have you ever known exactly what you should do and still done the opposite? You know you should cut the loss, but you keep holding. You know you shouldn't enter, but your finger still clicks. You know you shouldn't increase your position size, but you still add more size. Why? Is it because you're stupid? No. You're using a primitive survival brain for a game called probability plus controlled risk. Your brain was wired tens of thousands of years ago to do three main things: avoid danger, seek safety, conserve energy. What does trading ask you to do? Accept risk, face uncertainty, make repeated decisions in an unknown environment. In other words, trading is the exact opposite of your natural wiring. When price moves against your position, your brain thinks you're being attacked. Stress hormones rise, your heart rate spikes, your palms get sweaty. Your mind is flooded with one thought: do something, this hurts. And then you enter random trades, move your stop further away. Add to losing positions irrationally. Take profit too early on winners. Not because you lack knowledge, but because your survival instincts have hijacked the steering wheel. The market doesn't kill you with one massive crash. It wears you down through hundreds of tiny wrong reactions that you make under emotional pressure. This is the part few traders want to admit. You don't lose because you don't know what to do. You lose because you can't do what you know you should. The gap between knowing and doing is called psychology. And until you learn how to manage your primitive brain, every new strategy is just an expensive toy placed in the hands of a panicked child. Chapter 4. The Master Losing Mindset. Learning to own your losses. There's a statement that sounds completely backwards. If you want to win, you must first learn how to lose. It sounds offensive. No one comes into trading to learn losing. Everyone wants to learn high win rate, great RR, top-tier strategies. But look at how professional traders think about losses. They don't try to avoid losses. They own them. They turn losses into data feedback business expenses, a core part of the system. They don't hypnotize themselves with the phrase, "I must avoid losing trades." Instead, they ask, if this trade loses, how much am I willing to lose and still be fine? This is the foundational mindset of traders who survive long-term. I don't control my winners, but I fully control my losers. When you see a losing trade as a necessary cost instead of a wound to your ego, everything shifts. You no longer ask, how do I avoid losing? You ask, how do I lose small and lose well? Lose small so the account stays alive. Lose well so your mind stays intact. Professional traders are not ashamed of losing trades. They're only ashamed if they enter outside their plan, disobey their stop, hold a loser because of ego, revenge trade after a loss. This is a completely different standard, a losing trade that follows the rules, a loss to be proud of, a winning trade that breaks the rules, a win to be afraid of. Because a win that comes from breaking discipline is a sweet trap that leads to disaster later. When you embrace small losses as a natural part of the game, you start doing what very few traders can do: stay calm in front of red numbers. And from that point on, losses no longer define you, they simply pass through you. You learn how to lose so that, in the end, losses no longer control you. Chapter 5. Stop Loss. Trader or your most loyal friend? To most new traders, a stop loss feels like a traitor. Every time price hits your stop, you sigh, get bitter, blame yourself, and mumble, if only I hadn't placed my stop there. But to professional traders, a stop loss feels more like a contract between them and the market. This is the maximum I allow you to take from me on this trade. If you go beyond that, I'm out no negotiation. The stop loss doesn't exist to make you suffer. It exists to protect your capital, protect your mental state, protect your trading future. A big loss doesn't just burn money, it burns trust. A 1% loss, you're still clear. A 2% loss, still manageable. But a 30% or 50% loss, that's no longer just a loss. That's psychological trauma. The problem is, most traders refuse to see the stop loss as an ally. They see it as the thing that kills opportunities. They forget one thing. Without a stop loss, any single trade can become the last trade of your career. Professional traders have a very clear principle. I will never let one trade hurt me. Hurt here doesn't just mean money. It means your calmness, your judgment, your trust in yourself. The stop loss is the boundary that allows you to lose in a controlled way so that you can continue. You don't have to enjoy being stopped out. But a mature trader understands. It's better to take a small stop today than to hold a loss so big that I never get to come back tomorrow. Chapter 6. Losing Streaks. Curse or Necessary Test. If you trade long enough, there will be phases where no matter what you do, you're wrong. Clean setups, lose. Patient waiting, still lose. Follow the plan, still get slapped by the market. This is when many traders collapse, not because they lack knowledge, but because they never prepared for something that is 100% guaranteed to happen, a losing streak. New traders see losing streaks as a curse. Professional traders see losing streaks as a part of the statistics. They know any system, no matter how good, will have periods where it runs smoothly, periods where it performs terribly. They don't ask, how do I avoid losing streaks? They ask, when the losing streak comes, how much will I lose per trade? Where do I stop? How long do I rest? What do I do to protect my psychology? This is a massive difference. New traders only care about, how do I win? Professional traders prepare for, when I'm losing, how will I survive? Repeated losses don't just drain your account. They drain your confidence. They blur your clarity. They push you into a state where you're trading out of pain, not out of logic. That's when you revenge trade. Increase your position size irrationally. Trade outside your system. Break all limits just to get it back. A losing streak is not dangerous because of the number of losing trades. It's dangerous because of the emotions that accumulate behind it. Professional traders have clear limits. Max loss per trade, max loss per day, max loss per week. When to stop, when to shut the screen. Not because they're weak, but because they understand, I am not afraid of losing streaks. I'm afraid of who I become when a losing streak hits. Chapter 7. Noise, FOMO, and the dopamine trap. In trading, the market doesn't just move on price, it moves on human emotion. And one of the strongest emotions silently controlling countless traders every day is FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see price running hard, your heart beats faster, your brain starts whispering, if I miss this, I'll regret it forever. Everyone else is probably making a killing right now. If I don't jump in now, what if the move is gone? You're not entering because of a setup. You're entering because of dopamine. Dopamine is the hormone of expectation. It makes you feel excited even before the trade wins or loses. Every time you take a random trade and get lucky, overtrade, and end up with a few winners. Go oversized and catch a big win. Your brain records, oh, this behavior feels amazing. And slowly, you become addicted to the feeling, not the process. You're no longer looking for good setups. You're looking for strong sensations. Every spike in price becomes an opportunity. Every noisy range becomes a setup. Every time of day becomes a reason to be in the market. But the truth is, most of the time, the market is just noise. No clear trend, no clear structure, no clear entry. Professional traders understand this. They know that for 70 or 80% of the time, the market is not worth touching. They stay out, silent, observing, waiting. New traders can't handle that. If the chart is open, they feel they must do something. No trades, wars, restlessness, no action, or discomfort. But in trading, overaction is the fastest road to blowing up. One of the signs of a mature trader is they accept boredom. They accept silence. They accept doing nothing when the market is not ready. Because they understand, money doesn't come from clicking a lot. Money comes from knowing when not to click. Chapter 8. Trading. The most brutal mirror of your ego. If you really want to know who you are, don't look at how you are when you're winning. Look at how you react when you're losing. Trading is extremely good at this. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't comfort you. It doesn't soften the message. It shines a light directly on the weakest parts of you. Your lack of patience, your wounded ego, your fear of being wrong, your obsession with getting back to break even, your impulsiveness, anger, and lack of control. A losing trade is not just a red number on the screen. It's a question. What are you going to do next? Will you pause, breathe, journal, review your plan, or slam into another random trade to make it back? Will you accept that you were wrong and extract the lesson, or blame the market, the news, the broker, the setup. It's your reaction after the loss that categorizes traders. There is a sentence worth sitting with. A single losing trade says nothing about you. How you react to that losing trade says everything about you. Traders who journal their losses progress much faster than those who only celebrate their wins. Winning trades often feed illusions. Losing trades, if you dare to look at them directly, feed truth. Trading, in a very deep sense, is a magnified journey of self-development. The things you can normally avoid in daily life, anger, impatience, fear, ego, once you step into the market, get amplified 10x, 100x. And if you're brave enough to really look, each loss becomes a mirror that doesn't flatter you, doesn't protect you, doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It only says one thing: this is you. Are you willing to change? Chapter 9. The Survival. Philosophy. Trading is a marathon, not a sprint. A lot of people enter trading like they're entering a sprint. They want to get rich fast. They want to double their account in a few weeks. They want to go full-time after just a few months. And that expectation pushes them into insane behaviors. Going all in, increasing position size irrationally, taking trades all day, every day, holding losers until the account burns out. But the traders who survive 5, 10 plus years have a very different philosophy. Trading is not for people who want to win fast. Trading is for people who want to stay in the game for a long time. In a marathon, the winner is not the one who sprints hardest in the first kilometer. It's the one who keeps their rhythm until the finish line. In trading, it's the same. It doesn't matter how many % you make in 1 month. What matters is, are you still alive after 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? Staying alive sounds simple, but it's something most traders fail to do. They don't lose because they lack a system. They lose because of one bad all-in, one oversized, uncontrolled losing trade, one night of revenge trading in total emotional chaos, one unlimited losing streak with no boundaries. Professional traders design everything around survival. Fixed risk per trade, clear loss limits, account safety always prioritized over short-term profits. When their psychology is off, they stop, they don't force trades. The paradox is, the people obsessed with making money fast are the ones who lose it the fastest. Those whose main goal is, I must still be in this market years from now, are the ones who slowly but steadily build real wealth. Chapter 10. The Art of Accepting Losses. The Gateway to Real Trading. If you've made it this far, you probably feel this very clearly. Trading was never a battle against the market. It has always been a battle against your emotions, your unconscious reactions, your ego, your fear, and your greed. Losing at its core is not your enemy. Losing is a form of feedback. It's telling you the market is not aligned with you at that moment. That setup doesn't have the edge you thought it did. Your psychological state at that time wasn't good enough for a clean decision. Or simply, this is a good loss within a probabilistic system. The art of accepting losses doesn't teach you how to love pain. It teaches you how not to let pain drive your actions. You still hurt when you lose, that's normal, but you don't revenge trade. You still feel regret, that's human, but you don't increase your size to make it back. You still feel discomfort, of course, but you don't destroy your plan just to silence your emotions for a few minutes. You start to understand. Losing correctly, just starts buying more time to become a better trader. Every small controlled loss is a brick building, a stronger version of you in the future. And one day, you open your charts and realize you're different. You no longer shake at red numbers. You no longer float on air with green ones. You no longer feel this trade must win. You only have one question. Does this trade deserve the risk I'm about to take? If yes, you take it. If no, you calmly stay out. At that point, trading is no longer a war. It becomes a practice in discipline, a practice in patience, a practice in letting go, a practice in accepting uncertainty. And money strangely starts to come as a byproduct instead of something you chase. In the end, this entire journey can be summarized in one sentence. Whoever learns how to lose correctly, that person will eventually win. If you master losing, you master trading. If you master yourself, you don't need to master the market. your journey with the market can continue for many more years. But the inner transformation, the journey that begins the moment you accept losses as part of the path, is what truly determines who you will become in this world. Someone the market tosses around, or a mature trader, calm, steady, and hard to break.